This explainer is based on Chapter 6 of Laws of Life, Book 1, Ditch the System, Design Your Life, by Jack Spirko. Welcome to the explainer. Listen, today we are intercepting some highly guarded intel. We're looking at a literal blueprint for breaking out of mainstream society. The system? Well, it wants you compliant. But today we are giving you the override codes.
I want you to treat this like a leaked dossier. The author, Jack Spirko, drops a massive reality check in Chapter 6 of this text. He basically argues that most of us are unknowingly running corrupted passive software. It's programming installed by a culture that actively wants us just waiting around for a rescue that's literally never going to come. We need to override this mental code, and we need to do it right now. So let's start the extraction.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1, Exposing the Passive Software.
So, modern culture has deeply embedded a massive bug into our operating systems, the victim mentality. And the crazy thing is, this system actually markets this apathy directly to us. Think about it. The core message pushed by modern institutions is basically, hey, it isn't your fault that something bad happened to you, so since it isn't your fault, someone else should fix it for you. Spirko neutrally observes this happening at the absolute highest levels. I mean, he cites a multi-billion-dollar taxpayer-funded government campaign that actively ran radio ads trying to convince highly self-reliant rural farming communities to apply for food stamps. The system literally spends billions to convince you that you desperately need its intervention.
Now consider this quote from Goethe, like an intercepted transmission cutting right through all that cultural static. Knowing is not enough, we must apply. Willing is not enough, we must do. Spirko uses this to establish a brutal but honestly liberating truth. Even if your current situation is genuinely not your fault, getting out of it, that's still 100% your responsibility. No one is coming to write the patch for you. You have to execute the solution yourself.
Section 2, The Cost of Drifting, The Danger of Apathy. And this brilliantly illustrates what happens if we let that passive software run unchecked. Think of your life as a massive cargo ship. A guided ship plots a precise course, executes the plan, and boom, arrives exactly on target in San Francisco. But what if you just point the ship east, cut the engines, take your hands off the wheel, and just hope for the best? You're relying purely on luck. Spirko points out that it's mathematically absurd to think a drifting ship will ever hit its target. Yet, this is exactly how most people run their lives once they get a job and settle down. They just drift, responding to things as they happen.
But here's the critical part. Inaction compounds just like action does. Neglect is not neutral, guys. Apathy is actually a highly destructive background program. When you skip a workout or ignore your budget or tell yourself, oh, I'll start my business next week, these aren't just minor glitches. They stack up. Tiny navigational errors accumulate day after day until your ship is completely lost at sea. Choosing not to act is still a choice. And let me tell you, it is aggressively writing your future code.
Section 3, Reprogramming Your Mental Code. It's time to take direct control. All right, it is time to deploy the patch and take direct control of the terminal. Spirko gives us the exact command line entry to type into our brains right here. Computer, I want to remove X from my life and get Y into it. How can I make that happen? He actually ran this exact logic on his own life. See, he was a corporate VP of sales, traveling constantly, making great money, but he was completely miserable. He wanted to learn internet marketing, so he charted a new path, eventually taking a massive $95,000 pay cut just to force himself into a new environment to learn. He reprogrammed his life, executing this very command, which ultimately led him to build a top 2% income as an independent podcaster. He literally hacked his own career by issuing the right commands.
But here's the catch. The execution of this new code requires daily discipline. Like John Maxwell says, small disciplines repeated with consistency every day lead to great achievements. When you run this code daily, you start seeing the bypasses and backdoors that the entrenched system actively tries to hide from you. While the old guard complains about AI stealing jobs or insists you absolutely need an expensive, time-consuming college degree to succeed, the person who takes control, they simply learn the new coding languages, utilize the new AI tools, and run right past the gatekeepers. But it requires daily, relentless execution to exploit those opportunities.
Section 4, The Ship Method Framework. Let's look at your permanent override.
To make sure we don't drift back into the system's default control, we need a permanent override protocol. Let's rapid fire through it. S is for set the course. You have to define the target.
You can't just drift. Clarity is your mandatory starting point. H means hold the wheel. Stay actively engaged at the helm. Do not hand control over to circumstances or wait for things to pick up. I is inspect and adjust. Use obstacles as critical feedback to correct your errors. Real captains don't panic at storms, they just adjust their bearings. And P, push forward. Maintain consistent forward motion. Action compounds. This framework right here is your daily system check to keep you out of the ditch.
Section 5. Execute your new reality. Time for the system reboot. So, the crucial point is we are ready to initiate the final system reboot. We've got to distill this down to the absolute most critical data points so you can deploy them right now. First, neglect is not neutral. It is a slow, guaranteed path to decay. Second, no one is coming to fix your life for you. The cavalry isn't coming. Third, you are always moving towards something, even if you think you're standing completely still. And above all, you are the captain. Your life goes exactly where you steer it. Lock these facts into your programming.
Ultimately, it all boils down to this final binary ultimatum. Get busy living or get busy dying. You basically have two choices. Either you take the wheel and write your own code, or you let the system's passive software run you straight into the ground. There's no middle ground here, and waiting around is not a strategy.
System breach complete. Awaiting your final command. Are you going to keep running their corrupted software, or are you finally ready to write your own destiny? If you are ready to stop running their code and start designing your life, go to jackslaws.com right now to get the full 2-book series. Don't let the system control your programming. Like this explainer, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next leaked chapter.